Welcome. 4th and 9 to victory. It is that time. We are here to do our film study review pregame on the USC Trojans and Northwestern Wildcats that will be taking place at the Coliseum tomorrow, Friday the 6th at 6:30. One thing, big. I
I
see the
think it's
Big
the
Ten. They
seventh.
moved
It's the seventh, not the sixth. It's the
seven, and we'll be going live at six
yeah,
thirty.
yeah,
My
yeah.
bad. We'll be going live at 6:30 for the game. One thing I do see is last year this game was a week before. It was played a lot later because the Dodgers were in the World Series. But I feel
Right.
like this: if they're gonna make us play on a Friday night, especially if we're at home, we need to make the game 8, 9 o'clock to give us an advantage on that other team.
Right. But you know what? You know what, Chris? It's a good thing that this World Series already is already over. And congratulations to the LA Dodgers for winning the championship for MLB. Congrats, shout out to them. But it's a good thing that that series is over. So I don't think there's any Lakers game going on in town that night. So everybody should be able to go out and support the whole team, the Trojans.
Yeah, but I liked it last year when we played Rutgers real late. It was like 11 o'clock their time when
Yeah,
it started.
yeah, it was.
If you're gonna make us play if you're gonna make us play 9 o'clock games on the Eastern, you know what I'm saying? That's 7 o'clock our body time. I mean,
Right,
you're gonna make us play on Friday, make it late again. But man,
right.
we're gonna get right on into it. Let's move on to our first segment and get into this review. Our first segment, Mama, there goes that man. So in this segment, we talk about an individual on Northwestern side, whoever the opponent is that week, and also a member on our side. So what we want to do is look at a person that's on Northwestern that we cannot let beat us, that we can't keep hearing their name keep called, when we can't have to say, Mama, there goes that man again. Then we
Mm.
also want to pick our player from the Trojans that we want to hear that name over and over again. We want to say, Mama, there goes that man again, because it's going to lead to our success. So,
Right.
B, who is your player at Northwestern that we must contain, we must stop, we can't let Rick shop? And then who's that player for USC that we need a big game out of? We need to keep hearing his name called.
Well, Chris, for me, it's their running back. Similar build to what we similar situation to what we had on last week when we faced off with Nebraska's running back. But this running back right here pretty much has the same running style, Mr. Caleb Como-Lafe. I hope I'm saying his name correctly, but um, he's the primary back. Right now in the season, he has 608 yards, 7 TDs, but he has the most important number that you always like to look at, the yards per carry. Right now, he's on a 4.9 yard per carry clip. Again, he has a similar build to the running back that we faced on last week. I can't remember the kid's name for Nebraska, but they have a similar running style. He gets a lot of yards after the contact, but now the only difference between the two is the quarterback doesn't pass it to him that much out of the backfield. So I don't know whether or not he has dependable hands in the screenplay or running a wheel route, but he has the most attempts, most carries on the team. He's going to get those tough yards. And I do think that we're in our defensive line is going to have to really get off those tackles and get this kid down and not allow him to get those yards off the contact. So for me, it's none other than the running back, Mr. Caleb Como-Lafe, number 5.
And before you go to your USC player, because you said something very interesting, he's averaging 4.9 yards. I
Right.
mean, outside of Georgia Southern, Missouri State, isn't it ironic? Maybe our rush defense ain't. We give our rush defense problems, but maybe it ain't as
Right.
bad as we think, because everybody we play, running back, is averaging over 4 and 5 yards. So it
Yeah.
ain't just us that run
Yeah.
against.
So they averaging on those 4 or 5 yards before they get to us, right? And I'm thinking it's just so I'm thinking it's just maybe it's just the direction that college football has
College
been headed for
football.
some time now with spreading out, the offense. You got the wide receivers. Sometimes you see a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, and so you have to pretty much change up your defensive package. More than likely, if they're running a 3 wide receiver set, you're not gonna be in a 4-3. You're gonna be more so in a 4-2, to whereas you got 5 DBs on the field. But that gives the offensive line, especially if you have a pretty large offensive line, it gives them the opportunity to get a hat on a hat If you got a running back that can hide behind those offensive linemen, by the time you find him, he's already at the second level, right? So it's going to be very important for our linebackers to do what? Step up into those gaps, be proactive, and attack those gaps, as opposed to waiting on the running back to get to their level. Go ahead and be proactive and hit those gaps. And for USC, I'm looking for Makai Lemon to get back into it. He's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks, and I know the defenses are scheming up for him, and I understand that. But Riley's going to have to become creative here now. He hadn't had that many touches, hadn't had a 100-yard game in the last two games. The one against Nebraska and the one against Notre Dame. Hopefully, this will change with the game and the game against Northwestern. It's funny how all three of those teams that we face in a 4-month time span let us start with the end, right? You got Notre Dame, Nebraska, and now it's Northwestern. Hopefully, we'll have a little bit more luck now that we're playing at home. The last two games were on the road. So I'm looking for Mr. Makai Lemon to get back in the mix. I look for Riley to scheme up some creative ways to get the ball in hand and see if we can stretch that defense out some.
All right. And for me on the Northwestern side, mama, there goes the man. They're in edge rusher, Aiden Hubbard, leads the team in sack. The reason I'm going defensively, right, this time, normally I do go to running back, how important it is for us to stop the run with our struggles. But we're seeing in Nebraska, running back can get theirs, and we can still, be somewhat successful on defense. And the issue to me is that the last two games, right, Notre Dame, Nebraska, the biggest difference in our offense has been that the offensive line has been giving up pressures against a 4-man rush, and they're able to drop 7 in coverage. Right. That's why they can double blanket Makai and have an extra person on them. So the remedy from here on to the rest of the season is going to be that teams are going to say, let's rush forward, drop 7 in zone. That way, because they know they can't man up on our wide receivers, and if they're blitz, they're going to get 8 up. So they're going to say, let's rush forward, drop 7, until USC prove they're going to run us out of it. We're going to stay in this. We'll let them run, and see if they don't beat themselves as they go down the field. So for me, it's containing Aiden Hubbard because they're going to come with a 4-man rush. Me and you talk off camera, right, about their other edge that's second, right. But to me, Aiden Hubbard is their best defensive guy that causes havoc. He beats a lot of tackles in 1-on-1. So it's going to come down to containing him as well, so that Maava is not pressured like he's been pressured the last 2 weeks, right? He's been running for his life. When he drops back, offensive line has done a magnificent job in the running game. But the last 2 games in the pass blocking, he's been pressured a lot, and they're getting beat with a 4-man rush. So containing Aiden Hubbard, I don't want him having a career day on us. He already leads their team in sacks. I don't need to hear him coming out with 2 or 3 sacks in just one game because we can't hold up against a 4-man rush. And if we can't hold up against that 4-man rush and we don't run them out of it, it's going to be a long day. Offensively, because of that, I'm going to go with King Miller. I want to hear his name over and over again because guess what that means? We're running them out of that 4-man rush.
Oh yeah.
We're spreading them. We're spreading them out over in our 12-man, and we're running the counter tray. Right. That's when we pull our guard and our tackles, get those big bodies in front. Because Northwestern, they have some decent size. They're not the biggest up front, but their defense is not fast from the front to the back. Right. Their linemen are not fast. Their linebackers are not fast. They do play against the run well, but against teams like that, if you can get them going laterally, side to side where they're being stretched, we can beat them with Miller's speed and able to hit that gap. So I'm going to go with King Miller.
Hey, Chris, just to insert something real quick, you mentioned about running them out of that 4-man front. You mentioned King Miller. Another element that we showed in the second half of last week against Nebraska, who else did we get to run the ball? Our quarterback, Jay Marvin. You got those defensive ends coming up the field hard. The defense, the nose, and I guess the tackle are pretty much being taken on by 2 blocks. Sneak Jaden Maiba out of there. get him that 5, 7, maybe even 10-yard run and get out of bounds. We don't want him taking on any contact. So I look for Jay Mayava also to get his fair share of yards on the ground this coming Friday also.
Somebody need to tell him over there because he ran somebody over on the goal line trying to get in. It was
I
a
saw
stop
that.
too.
I saw that.
And then he ran somebody over against Purdue on that 4-1. I
Yeah,
was like, I like
we
this
don't need
fella.
him getting hurt. So
Hey,
Jay,
he's a big
get what
fella
you
though.
can. I
He'll
know
load the
that.
tackle.
I know that, but
He's
get
a
what
big
you
guy.
can, man, and get out of bounds or get down, man. We cannot afford for you to get hurt.
All right, my bad. I didn't
You
mean to hit the
good?
horn while you were talking about finger slipped. All right. Going on to the next segment. USC keys to victory. What do we need to do to pull this win out at the Coliseum tomorrow night against Northwestern?
Well, since we already touched on the offense as far as running the ball, I want to switch it over to the defensive side, right? Stop the run. What did I say? Their running back, Mr. Caleb Como Lafe, number 5 running back, is averaging 4.9 yards a carry, has 600 yards on the season so far, and 7 touchdowns. Again, this isn't a running back that's going to go down with just a bump. I noticed that a lot of times players like to try to dislodge the ball. So what do? You hit the running back from the side and don't wrap up. This is a kid we need to wrap up. Again, similar running style to the Nebraska running back we faced on last week. Not going to go down on the first contact. Going to fight. It's going to scrap for those extra yards. So what do you want to do? Same plan as we had in the second half of last week when we shut down Nebraska. Fill those gaps, make the quarterback throw the ball. Why do we want the quarterback to throw the ball? The quarterback, Mr. Preston Stone, so far in the season, he's only thrown 10 touchdowns, but he has 9 interceptions, which means that he's not that accurate with the ball, and he likes to throw it to the opposite team. So for me, it's going to be the same thing, same recipe as last week. Step up, stop the run, sell out to stop the run, play physical on the outside, disrupt those wide receivers from getting into those timing routes, and stop the run. Get Mr. Komalafe to the ground.
You had to stress that stop the run again.
Right. Stop the run. Right.
Got you. My keys to victory on the offensive side: offense start fast, no turnovers and finish drives in the end zone. Right. You preferenced it on our recap. When we're down there on the goal line against Nebraska, and that next drive after we go right down the field and we settle for a field goal, and it's a 7-6 game now where it could have easily been 14-7,
Right.
and that puts pressure on us. We have to start fast. We have to come out like we did against Michigan at home. Start fast and finish these drives in the end zone with touchdowns. The reason you want to do that because Northwestern, they want to run the ball, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they can run the ball, and they're going to run the ball straight at you in between the tackles, right? And we know our issues with stopping the run this year. So if we start fast and we get in the end zone, every game Northwestern to be in, because not against Michigan, against Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern actually averaged over 5 yards a carry.
Okay.
But they couldn't keep up offensively, right?
Right.
And Oregon was able to get out on them, so they kind of went away from the run, and that's where they got in trouble. So let's finish these drives in the end zone with touchdowns. That way we can get them out of what they want to do. Like you said, Preston Stone. I don't know what happened to Preston Stone because 2 years ago at SMU, he took them to a 1-loss season. Then last year he struggled the first 2 games and they benched him. Then he transferred out. So I don't know what Preston Stone's going to show up. Is it going to be the guy that was balling at SMU the first year, or the guy we've seen the last 2 years? I'm
I
going to
hope
take
he's the one that throws the 9 interceptions.
the one the last 2 years, right?
Right.
So
I hope it's him.
I mean, he's shown that for 2 years now. So, you got to take that as goal. So if we get them scores in the end zone, right, put the pressure on them, make them get out of what they want to do as far as running the ball and put the ball in his hands, is going to go well for us, because he's a gunslinger, and he actually likes to and he eyes his receivers down. And if you get pressure on him, he'll just throw it. And then sometimes we talk about his 9 interceptions, but in watching the film, I mean, sometimes he drops back and he just like he hits the ball with his own thigh and fumble.
Does he?
Right. So
Okay.
he makes those type of mistakes. So it's about not going back to the Grinch days when ever someone played us, they had a career day.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know. Let's not do that. That's my keys to victory. Offense start fast. Make sure that we get the ball in the end zone, not selling for field goals. Right. Let's
Right.
like you said, come out with that tenacity. When we have them down, put our foot on their throat. Don't play with them. Defense, sell out. Do whatever you got to do to stop the run to make Preston Stone have to beat you. Because if he throw 30 or 40 times a game, he's gonna give you two gimmies, right?
Yeah, yeah, he
Um,
is.
yeah, and that is my key to victory. All right, moving on to our next segment. It's that time. First down here on 4th and 9. All right, your scouting report on Northwestern offense and how USC should attack them on defense.
All right, on the offense, again, we just touched on it on our keys to victory. How should SC attack them on defense? A little bit of how we played in the second half of last week. We allowed our cornerbacks to step up and be physical, Mr. DeCarlos Nicholson and Marcellus Williams. I noticed that I love the way that, especially Marcellus Williams, I love the way he played in the second half. That game against Nebraska on the road, hostile environment, getting hands on receivers, being real physical. Now, if the referees are going to allow us to play like that, I think our odds are extremely high. What does that do? That gives us the opportunity to drop to do what? Put our linebackers up in that gap and be it allows Lynn, it allows Lynn to really get after that running back. Run blitz defense. Again, we're attacking the gaps. We're being proactive, not being reactive. Not allowing those linemen to get to the second level to block our linebackers or even our safety. So, for me, I'm going to put that. I'm going to maybe even bring Kamara Ramsey down in the box. Why? Because I want Precious Stone to try to beat me. He hadn't shown that he could beat too many people with his arm. So for me, I'm going to sell out again. I'm going to sell out to stop the run. I'm going to bring my safety up in the box. I'm going to really get out to Mr. Como Lafe.
All right. Northwestern offense. They're typically a pro style offense, right? Definitely because they want to run the ball, but they will spread it out when need to and go, 3 or 4 wide receivers at a time. Like we said, Preston Stone is their quarterback. The goal is to make him beat you. He has 9 interceptions, a couple of fumbles, only 10 touchdowns. Their best wide receiver is Griffin Wow. He has 39 receptions on the year, 507 yards, 4 TDs. He's averaging 14.6 yards a carry. And watching the film, you see a lot of the interceptions that Preston Stone has is throwing to Griffin Wild. He stares him down. That's his ace Ben Coon. There's no one else out there at wide receiver at Northwestern that you really have to worry about that stick out on film, except this guy. He's the go-to guy. They don't throw down the field often, as far as deep wise. I think they only have like 14 completions. That's over 30 yards.
Okay.
But Griffin Wild is definitely his main go-to guy. That's the guy he wants to go to. He'll get in trouble. He'll throw it to him if he's covered in tight coverage. If pressure is coming, he's looking for him. He'll eyeball him down. So definitely, Griffin is a guy that we need to pay attention to.
So do you put the Carlos Nicholson on the, from what I saw? I think Mr. Griffin, what's his name? Griffin Wild. It's like a 6'2", 6'3" receiver, 200 pounds. So he has some size on him. So do you put the Carlos Nicholson on him?
I don't think he's warrant being followed
Okay.
across the field, right? I think Marcellus can. Here's the thing, right? Like I said, he's not running a lot of the deep routes.
Okay.
Right? They don't throw deep much often anyway. So you even with Marcellus being a little shorter than Nicholson, I would like to see Marcellus on him as far as for the lateral, coming out of breaks, crossing routes, being able to stay with him. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Things like
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
he runs a lot of possession routes, if that makes sense. And not
Okay.
the straight deep end. But I would like to see both of them getting them at the line of scrimmage, which is one of my keys here. As we stated, right?
Right.
Go what you say last week, you showed me you can do it. Now that's the
Right.
expectation.
Right. Now,
Bump,
now, that's what we expect. Yeah. You show once
yeah,
you show us. Yeah.
for you to get up, bump and play physical and be able to stay with them,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
Um, their offensive line is crazy. Their offensive line is only giving up 10 sacks this year so
Yeah, I
far,
saw that. I saw that.
and only 30 tackles for loss. That seems like a lot, but when you look at it in the Big Ten, that's the fourth fewest in the Big Ten.
Okay.
But if you look when you're looking at the film and you're looking at the games, it seems like it's a lot more. It definitely seems like it's a lot more. As well, they do have a couple of Georgia Southerns and Missouri State on the schedule too that they played.
Right.
Um, but their offensive line is pretty solid, man. They can run the ball. They will give us some pressures. Um, so for us defensively, how I'll attack, of course, from here on out, we need to stay with our three linebacker set.
Right.
We
I
have
think
to.
so. Okay.
We have to
I agree. I
because
agree. I agree.
we have to do something about the run.
You're
I
right.
loved
Right.
about Nebraska. We seen 6-man fronts. You know what I'm saying as well. Uh, Not every time everybody was coming, but still, they even caused confusion with offensive line. As far as pass rushing, we can stunt them, beat them with our speed and quickness of Thanos and Tompkins, right?
Mhm.
Lucas and Cam Fountain. I'm saying sorry, Cam Crawford.
Right.
Stunned to the inside. This the same stunts that we seen against Nebraska that we was asking for against Illinois and Notre Dame. We never seen that we seen all year that work. We need to do that. So stay with the
And
linebacker
that's
set.
actually how Cam Crawford got that sack last week. You know, that was a stunt he ran. He got on that. He
Yeah.
got that sack on that backup quarterback. That's how he got
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, it was a stunt. He the three technique went outside. He went up 2 yards and stunned it right under him. Came back to the inside.
Right.
Yeah,
One thing I
but
will say about Preston Stone, I don't think he's that fast. I don't think he's going to hurt us on the ground. And as a matter of fact, I think this is going to be
he don't
similar
he don't
matchup.
want to run.
Yeah,
He
I
don't
think
want
this
to
is going to
run.
right. I think this is going to be a similar matchup to what we faced last week. It's almost identical when I look at the running style of the running back, Komolafe and Nebraska's running back, the size of Preston Stone. Now, of course, Dylan Raola is a better thrower of the ball than Preston Stone. He doesn't have as many interceptions, which means that he probably makes a little more better decisions. But I think we're going to face an identical offense that we faced last week.
Well, so let me see. Make sure three back linebacker said talked about that. Talked about stunting, bumping.
Right.
All right. Second down. Scouting on Northwestern defense and how USC should attack them on offense.
Well, like you said earlier, they're going to run that 4-man. You got to run them out of it, right? Again, King Miller, our offensive line. Hopefully, we'll have same amount of success we had last week in the second half on blocking. And actually, to be honest, Chris, we actually had some success on the ground in the first half. King Miller before halftime. It's just that it didn't reflect in the score. And you mentioned that last week when we talked about the men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but they could be misleading. He had 8 rushes for 91 yards on the ground last week. King Miller did, but we only had 6 points at the half. You would think, with that much success on the ground, we would convert it in the red zone, but we settled for 2 field goals. Why? Because we got cute on the goal line, wanted to pass the ball. This week, I hope the game plan is, hey, look, let's get King Miller going. If he needs a breather, let's bring in Brian Jackson on the goal line. If we get fortunate enough to get inside that red zone, let's bring Brian Jackson in inside the red zone, or maybe even Harry Dalton. But if King Miller is going, let's keep it on the ground. Let's run him out of that 4-man front. Also, I think another recipe was to do what? Let Jay Maiava use his legs. So they're going to send those ends up the field. They're going to rush them hard up the field. They're going to drop 7. Hey, Jay, if we don't run a draw play and you see you don't have anybody open, after you get through that
Take
second
off.
progression, take off. Take off after you get through that second progression. Just take off. Right. Get, like I said, get you 7, get you, we can get 5, 6 yards a pop and you get down or get out of bounds. 2 5 yards is what? A first down, right? 1 7 yard and another 3 yard is what? It's another first down, right? Now they got to do what? They got to start bringing those players up. They can't bail 7. So for me, it's going to be the same recipe that we showed in the second half of last week. Run the ball with King Miller. They continue to drop. Hey, Jay Marva, let's get those 60 yards on the ground.
All right. So on to Northwestern defense. Just like everybody else, they run a 4-2-5. That's their base.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll bring in a third linebacker if the situation calls for it. But they're basically 4-2-5. Run a lot of zone, right?
Yeah.
Drop back in a lot of zone. Their pass rushers, like we already talked about their two edge, right?
Right.
Two edge guys is where the strength of their pass rush is. So it's going to
Right.
be big for our tackles to have to be able to hold up out there,
Absolutely.
and make sure those guys are contained. As far as the passing game, Northwestern is ranked 14, nationally, right? Per
14.
game. 14, yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, they only given up 173 yards. A lot of that too. Um, is some of the teams they're played. But again, we said the same thing about Nebraska, and look what happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, there's only one team that threw for more than 200 yards against them. That was Purdue. But
Purdue.
If Purdue can throw for 218, we should be able to throw. Yeah, Nico didn't even throw.
Oregon
Nico and
didn't,
UC.
hey, Oregon didn't throw for more than 200 yards on Northwestern.
Let me see. Northwestern has not allowed any opposing offense to throw for more than 300 yards this season. Only
Okay.
one team has managed more than 200 yards, and that was Purdue.
Okay.
Um, they
Which
do have a
means
good.
that they dropping everybody deep.
Yeah, they're rushing forward, dropping 7. They play a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
It's to keep. They invite you to run on them. And if you look at what Oregon did to them on the ground, you know what I mean.
Right.
Uh, so that's why the linebacker Matt. I don't know how to say his last name. Forgive me. Ulahan, um, he's their best linebacker. He's actually leading the team with 4 interceptions at the linebacker position. Again, playing in that zone, dropping back, reading
Right.
reading the coverage, right? Uh, and so they do play a lot of zone. The linebackers are good in the run game. They haven't really been stressed by any tight ends from a team yet. But
Mm-hmm.
again, the key to me for this is going to be able to spread them out. Normally I say 12 men to run the ball, but
Right.
I say go with our 3 wide receiver sets, spread them out, and run the tray counter, right? Where we pull the guard and the tackle,
Right.
right?
Right.
Let Miller use his speed, make those linebackers run laterally, side to side, right? We have a speed advantage offensively against their defense.
Right.
Make those linemen think, run those counters, invite the defensive linemen to come upfield, those edge rushers. They're definitely looking for sack. Like you said, Maiva keeping his own read,
Right.
run around them. That's going to slow them up and keep it honest. So the key to us having success is run the ball until they come out that 4-man front. Make them have
Yeah.
to blitz. Make them have to bring a third linebacker in. Make them have to adjust to get some man coverage, and then we attack through the air. Normally, we like to run. We like to pass to set up the run. We need to come in, run, and set up the pass. Let's flip that. You
I
see what
agree.
I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
agree.
run them out of that. Run them out of that 4-man that 4-man rush. Now, especially if we see early that they're getting pressure with 4, and our offensive line is struggling just to block that straight 4, you definitely got to run them out of it, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not gonna have time to dissect and throw into a zone where they're dropping 7 people back there and it's all crowded. And if you notice what Nebraska did the same thing that Notre Dame did. Is though they dropped 7, they would run like a man under with a safety over the top, a cloud to
Mm-hmm.
watch for anything deep, but everybody else under would be, would be man on the outsides, and they had to cover over Lemon. So run them out of it.
Right.
That's why Jaden Miley was able to take off and run because they had their backs turned. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Once the head
he
dropped.
got way run for 60, 66 yards, 67 yards.
Yeah, he almost went for 100.
And
He
actually,
actually
you know
had
what? It would have been
he
more
had
than
more
that.
yards, but he
Yeah.
lost. He had more yards than that. But you know, it take the negative plays take away from your rush yard. He would
Well,
have
you know,
had
at the
somewhere
end of the
close to
game
100.
when we went victory formation, that
That took
first
away
snap,
from it too.
yeah, he ran backwards and stood up for like maybe scrambled around for like maybe like 2 or 3 seconds to make them use that
Well,
last
you know you
time.
have to because if you just take the ball, you remember Indiana got a penalty from that in the earlier game. Like you
Mhm.
can't just drop back and just sit there. You got to actually do a
Yeah.
football move. That's why he was bouncing like he was throwing it.
Okay,
Indiana got a penalty in a close game earlier this year like that.
okay, I got you.
So that's why he was bouncing like he was gonna throw it. So it was actually pretty smart of him or Riley, whoever told him to do it. All right. On to third down. Expectation for the game: will USC cover the 14.5 point spread? Uh, I'll go ahead and go first. Man, I believe we do. I know Northwestern can run the rock. I know
Mhm.
Northwestern defense is good enough to make a complete stops, but the team we are at home is a totally different team than we are on the road,
Yeah, most
especially
definitely.
offensively. Um, to be honest, outside those turnovers against Notre Dame, the offense didn't just play bad. You know, the in the pass game, the run game was off. Then we go to Nebraska, the run game was on, and the pass game was off.
Right.
Now that we're back home, I think both of them is back to clicking again, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
and we have the home field advantage, and the way we play, I think we come out, we play like we play against Michigan. Um, I do think we cover, and the reason I think that we will cover is because I believe that we're going to get out ahead, right? We're going to get out ahead. We're going to make them get out their comfort zone, which is running the ball. They're going to start trying to air it out, to stay with us, right? The best thing for us in this game is for it to be a shootout. We don't want a close game, whereas knock them down. We don't want another game like that with Nebraska against this team because of their ability to run the football, right? And
Right.
because Northwestern, what they want to do is they want to keep the game close. They want it to be knocked down one possession, going into the fourth quarter, and see where we're at. Um, but for us, I do think we cover the spread. I know that's more than 2 touchdowns, but I think
Yeah.
I think this is like a Michigan score, right? Where
Okay.
we go out, we win. I'm gonna say, well, actually, that is 14 points.
Do we hit the
I was
40-point mark?
31. I was gonna
Do,
say 31-17, but that's not covering the spread. That's 14 points. I'm gonna
do we hit,
go.
do you think we hit the 40-point mark on Friday?
I don't think we hit the 40. I think their defense better than that. And with us going to have to be running the ball and them have to be running the ball, that means we will have to score every possession. These games go by so fast. You don't get but 6 or 7 possessions
Right.
due to the to the clock rules where it don't stop on um, the clock winds back up on out of bounds and all that. So the games are not going as long as you're only getting 6 or 7, 8 possessions at most, right?
Mhm.
But I do think we cover. I'm going to say 35-17.
I think we cover. I think we get back to, like you said, the offense clicking and the run game clicking and the pass game clicking. Simply because we're at home now. This is provided that we don't play down to the competition, meaning that we
No,
don't.
no, no. Here you go. You can't do that. You got to give
I'm
your.
not going to hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. What I'm
You
saying
can't be
is this.
doing that what if
What I'm,
statement.
what I'm saying is this: we can't turn the ball over. And we talked about that on another show. Remember, we talked about how it's becoming a trend now, a normalcy for us to turn the ball over. Now, last week we didn't have as many. We only had one turnover, which was what was an interception, right?
Right.
We had
That that's a plus for the last couple of weeks. It was
right.
two.
So
It was
that's
two
headed in the
turnovers.
right
So
direction. But
we're going the right way.
right. But we got to get back to where, hey, look, we're not killing ourselves with turnovers and penalties. I do feel better about this game than I did a couple of weeks ago. Remember, I said last week I felt better about the Nebraska game than I did the Notre Dame game, even though it made me nervous. But for some reason, we play better at home. We play tough at home. So last time I saw the spread, I saw it at 15 and a half. You just said maybe there was just another site that showed 14 and a half. But I do think we cover. I think we come out. Of course, I look for Riley to take the ball first if we get the opportunity. I look for the offense to get back to doing what they do. I look for Marvin to spread that ball around, and I do feel like our defense is going to be aggressive. Our defense is going to play fast and physical because we're at home. So I do expect for us to cover that spread. Now, as far as the score, I don't think I'm going to add a score, but I do expect for us to cover that
Yeah, I hear that 49 he doing it again. He
we
bad
said
luck by
doing it again, man.
he think he bad luck by giving the
Covering the score. Hey, covering the spread that's more than 2 touchdowns. That's more than 2 scores. That's 14 and a half. So yeah, I think we cover that spread, man. I tell you what, we better cover that spread. We at home. We better cover it.
Man, and more importantly, we just got to win because we're normally never right on this segment as far as the spread, except for last week. Somebody was right.
Yeah, you were right about the spread on last week.
All right. Moving on, 4th down. Your offense and defensive USC impact player that's going to be Saturday that you think is going to be an impact player. Me offensively, Miller. I'm gonna go Miller again because to me it's important that we run the ball in order for Lemon and Lane to get those one-on-ones, and they are banking on we have these 2 edge guys. Our line can beat your line. We're just going to rush forward. We're going to sit back in this zone and make you keep everything in front of us, right? Because the game plan that everyone's going to play against USC is make them work their way down the field, keep everything in front of you, don't get hit with the big play. They're looking for the big play. And it's going to come down to if we're going to be patient, right? And Rod has shown this year to run the ball. But let's start running the ball and running it consistently to run them out that 4-man rush, and then everything will come out of that. So I think Miller is going to have another big game, right? Running that rock defensively. I'm so proud of this guy from the game he played, and like what you say, man, you shown us you can do it. Now that's the expectation. I'm going to go with Desmond Stevens.
Okay.
How do you say their running back name? Is it how you say
Omolafe?
Kamalafe, and forgive us if we're saying it wrong. I've been trying to practice it all day, and that's not how I was pronouncing it. But I'm going to go with Desmond Stevens. I want him to meet Kamalafe and become his hip mate all game. Meet him in the holes. I'm expecting Stevens to have the same type game he had against Nebraska with filling gaps, making tackles behind or around the line of scrimmage, not 5 and 6 yards down the field. I'm hoping the Nebraska game is it all clicked, and now that he had his game experience, he's ready to go. And what we've seen last week, we're going to continue to see. But in order for us to at least be able to contain they run and not just let this guy go for 200 yards, 170 yards, Stevens and Mr. Kamalafi gonna have to become best friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, so I'm gonna go with Desmond Stevens. I think he's gonna be the impact player again this week.
Okay, for me, it's gonna be our quarterback, Mr. Jay Maava. Last week he was off. As far as his arm is concerned, now he pulled a rabbit out the hat when he went to his legs. No one was expecting that. Why? Because we haven't shown it much on tape this season, but he did so when it was a crucial point in the game. We had only had 6 points at halftime. We came out, took that lead in the second half, and the defense held on for us. So for me, it's going to be Mr. Jay Maava. I want to look for him to get back on track. I look for him to throw for 250 yards plus. On defense, the Carlos Nicholson. I look for him to take on the challenge of guarding their best receiver. He wants that challenge. He's been physical at the line. He's been with the wide receivers. He's been building up confidence. And lately, I think Lynn has started to trust him more as far as coming up, playing bump man coverage at the line, being physical with his hands, and not getting a lot of penalties. So for me, and he's only given up 1 touchdown in the last 3-4 games. I think the last touchdown he gave up was against Michigan, right? So
Yeah.
I look for Mr. DeCarlos Nicholson to be
He's given up 2 in the last 3 games.
last two in the last 3 games. So I look forward to be DeCarlos Nicholson on defense and Jay Miles on offense.
I mean, in the touchdowns he give up, those 2, he's been there.
Yeah, he was there. I forgot about the one he had in Nebraska. And from what I understand, they didn't get a chance. They didn't replay that touchdown. I heard it was questionable. I got to go back and watch it again myself. But I heard that touchdown was questionable
Yeah,
against
he's
Nebraska.
been there. He's been good.
Right.
All right. On to the next segment. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pass this over. This is B segment. It's that time of the week for Jobs Not Done. It's for him to give his pregame pep talk to the team. Something we started during the Michigan game, right before the Michigan game, and sound like the players heeded his advice. They came out on fire. He gave another spirited one last week before the Nebraska game. Defense came out on fire. So we're going to continue it, man. On to you, B. Job's not done. What you got for us this
Job's
week?
not done. Watching that game on last week, I saw something that made me proud, and I mentioned it during our recap. I saw offensive lineman try to block Jide Abasari after the whistle blow, and he turned around and he responded with a swift push, which made Nebraska's head coach upset because the referee didn't throw the flag. If you remember, I went on my rant a couple of weeks ago after watching Notre Dame bullies and pushes around, and the referee didn't throw a flag at the Notre Dame's running back punched one of us in the face. So it seems to me that the league is allowing some form of physicality as long as it doesn't get out of hand. Well, I'm expecting for you guys to play the same way. I'm expecting to see the same fire and the same tenacity out of you guys that I saw last week against Nebraska. You played tough, you played physical. What I don't expect for you guys is to lay down and to underestimate this team. They want to come in and beat you. Right now, you got everything ahead of you. The path that's laid out before you, you control your own destiny. So why sit down now? Why be passive now? Why wait around and hope that you get a turnover? Hope that you get a tackle for loss. I want to see everybody out there hitting everything that moves. Follow your assignment. Be gap sound. Be aggressive on defense. Attack the ball on offense. I don't want to see anybody standing, anybody walking. I want to see the same high spirit that I saw when you won that game against Nebraska. You remember that feeling that you had in the gut of your stomach after going on the road and doing what people said you could not do? How did it make you feel? Always remember the past, right? But you don't want to live in it, which means that you're not going to expect for anybody to come in there and give you anything. And you shouldn't expect for anybody to come in there and give you anything. So I want to see this team be aggressive. I want to see this team play with a sense of urgency. You can't afford to have any letdowns right now. All of that training you did during the week, all of that preparation, the film study, the practices, playing through headaches, playing through bumps and bruises, playing through broken fingers. Why sit down now? Why rest on your laurels now? Because any slip up this point going forward can derail you away from what your plans were at the beginning of the season. So if your plans were not to win a championship, you may as well stop playing before tomorrow. Don't even show up. So if you're showing up on Friday, if you show up on Friday, you're telling me that you're committing yourself to winning. You're committing yourself to going out there and playing for a cause. What's that cause? Championship. It's championship or nothing. It's playoffs or nothing. Every time you put on those pads, you're committing yourself. Every time you button up that chin strap, you're committing yourself. What are you committing yourself to? You're committing yourself to winning. Because truthfully, this world, this country respects winners. Everything else, you may tell yourself it's a moral victory, but deep down, you'll find yourself saying 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I should have played my ass off. So I'm expecting for you guys to get out there, play tough, play fast, play physical, but play together. That's my words for this week. Do not underestimate these guys. Job's not done.
Most definitely. Playoff rankings came out today. For the college football playoff, we're at number 19. We control our own destiny, but it's like I told somebody earlier, we've been in the playoffs ever since the Notre Dame loss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Every week is we're playoffs already started for us.
Right.
We can't take another loss. So definitely be good words. Don't underestimate this team. Don't come in on keep focused. Come out here, do what you're supposed to do. Play with that intensity. All right. Not sure what happened to my slide, but that concludes our show. We will be live Friday, November the 7th. We'll be kicking off at 6:30 p.m. You know what time, you know what
No,
station that game
it's
is?
at 8 p.m. So we'll be playing 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The game will be on Fox. So we'll go live at 7:30. Of course, we always go live 30 minutes before
Okay.
the show.
I was thinking the game was 6:30 Central.
No. It's 8 o'clock Central. 8 o'clock
Okay,
on
good.
Fox.
So
8 o'clock on Fox.
everything I said at the beginning of this video you can ignore because we are getting that 8 o'clock game. I mean it's 10
Yeah,
o'clock day night. It's 10 o'clock
right,
daytime.
right.
You know what
That's
I'm
correct.
saying?
Right,
So that's great.
right.
So we'll be hopping on. Whew, that's gonna be a late night for us.
It's gonna
But
be a
it's
late
fine.
night. But at least it's on a Friday though. At least it's on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll be kicking off at 7:30 here
yeah.
on 4th and 9 of victory. For the live game watch, break down the film as we going in, man. We appreciate everybody that come out every Saturday. Man, make sure that you guys, call in, comment. We definitely love to hear from you to share what you're seeing in the game as we root our Trojans on and give what we're seeing during the game. B, you got anything else?
No, man, that's it. Continue to like, share, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell for notification for when we drop content. We dropping content at least 3 times a week, and then we have a live show. So continue to support the channel as we continue to grow here at 4th and 9 to victory.
Like, yes, sir. Again, we will be locked and loaded Friday night, November the 7th. We'll be kicking off at 7:30 p.m. We'll be here for the whole game. Join us, call in, comment. We would love to hear you. Until then, man, everybody will appreciate you for subscribing, like, sharing, commenting. I'm hoping I can't even remember my buddy name that I want to call in on Saturday. Man, he writes
His
in the
name,
comments.
what is his name? Cold blooded or young blooded or something
Cold
like that.
blooded, please join us on Saturday. We want to,
Yeah.
yeah, we want you to join us. We would love to hear what you got to say. We appreciate you commenting on the videos. We love it, man. But definitely feel free to call in on Saturdays. We would love to hear from you. Um, to everyone else, we appreciate you. We'll see you guys Friday, November the 7th at 7:30 when USC Trojans go against the Northwestern Wildcats. And until then, everybody, as always, fight on, fight on.
Fight on.